So 6 years there, kind of took more of a managerial responsibilities. You probably have what, another 4 or 5 more jobs before the basement, or
Oh
are we
my
getting
God,
closer?
yeah. No, it wasn't that bad. So did some more software work, and then COVID hit. And COVID, as you know,
Yeah.
everyone went through lockdown. I was working for a big financial software company, and really enjoying what I was doing. And the rumblings were that, hey, we're all going to go under lockdown. We're going to work from home. So, we thought, that's no big deal, and everyone kind of shares that similar story, right, under
Yep.
COVID, which was, can we truly do this? Can we work remotely? And we saw, yeah, there's no problem at all. Well, since that particular financial company worked primarily in the auto industry, at the beginning of COVID, the auto industry took a dive. So they started laying people off. And I remember having a conversation with my boss at the time and going, wow, I don't know if that's a good idea, because we all know how this works, right? It's going to go up like this, it's going to go down, then it's going to bounce back, and it's really hard to find qualified folks, especially in the more mature roles. So if you let those people go, they're not going to come back.
Yeah.
And so you really need to take care of them. And we're seeing that all over the place, right?
Yep.
So the companies that did it right were the ones that said, let's figure out a way to hang on. Let's figure out a way to keep limping forward. The companies that did it wrong said, hey, I'm gonna cut you guys loose. And then, hey, I'll come back and get you. Well, so they tried to do that, this particular company, and then just out of the blue, there was a wonderful opportunity to work with the basement. Again, my knapsack, my career, the person that was my intern years and years and years ago at one of my very first jobs was the UX director at the basement.
Wow,
And
that's so cool that
she-
your network all came full circle. That's awesome.
Oh, total full circle. So when she announced that she had an opportunity to do something very, very cool, they said, well, what are we going to do? We love you. How are we going to replace you? And she said, hey, you should talk to Kevin and see if he would be willing to come on board. So it was just one of those eureka moments. But to me, again, it goes back to that whole, you give, and then sometimes it comes back to you, sometimes it doesn't, but you just have to understand that you kind of have to give it up, and usually it'll come back to you tenfold. Some people call it karma, I guess you can call it that. But here was this opportunity, and so when they called and said, hey, would you talk to us? I was like, oh, of course. I can't miss this position. So, and that was it. And that's where I'm at right now. And
No, I love it. It's a great. I think it's like, in a lot of ways, it's relatable. I mean, the twists and turns of a design career or any career, it's relatable. I like that you didn't just highlight all of the victories. Like, you kind of also acknowledged the missteps and the failures, which in a lot of ways could ultimately be more valuable. So, so the basement, I want to talk a little bit about that, because it just seems, I checked out the website, I checked out some of the projects you guys did. You guys have worked with companies like the NCAA, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, American College of Education, a ton of national, clients, for lack of a better word, like companies that you guys partnered with to make better design systems or the products. What do you guys specialize in? Like, where's the basement? Like, if somebody was to come to the basement, like, what do you offer?
Sure. Well, several things off the bat. So first of all, when we say we're a fully integrated agency, we truly are. We've got folks that can do everything from help you analyze your current market and help you place ads in the specific part of the region where you need to go to get the best, bang for your buck, so to speak. But also imaginative, creative storytellers. I've never been at such at an agency before where everyone is just amazing. I mean, it's a truly humbling experience. We've got animation designers, we've got creative directors, we've got photographers, videographers, editors. We've got people that wear many of those hats all at once, and it's just a cool experience. It's like if you ever read like art history in the Bauhaus movement, where you would hear about these like heavy hitters of these groups of artists that would like go out and have beers or whatever all together, and then they would all design and paint write poetry and music and stuff. That's what it's like.
That's
It's
awesome.
truly like being in this amazing environment. And the culture is fantastic too. So it's very supportive of just making sure that everyone is happy, that everyone has what they need, and it just really aligns with the things that I respect as well. So.
What
I
do
know
you
I
got-
kind of danced around the issue, didn't I? So it's really it's that full integration, which is a lot of times in my past in working in those different companies, we would work maybe with the software team and we would design an application. Well, we would run into a wall where we didn't have photography, we didn't have videography, we didn't have branding. At the basement, we never run into that because we can really do everything. We can launch everything from the creative to the analytical and everything in between. So, for instance, right now we're doing a huge video shoot for Schlage, which is an amazing company. It sells locks, especially smart locks. These really, really cool, integrated systems. Everything's in smart homes now, right?
Yep.
So we are doing these amazing high-end commercials for them. I know that is building a huge group of assets for me, so that when it's my turn to then work on some stuff for them, that I've got access to this amazing library. I've got folks that have had intimate conversations with their stakeholders, and I can talk to them and say, okay, what is the messaging for this, and now how can I translate it? I could turn around to our analyst team and then ask them, what are some of the stats telling us? How are some of these social media campaigns working? Who's responding to what? And it all feeds into each other. So it's like this multi-tentacled creature, right? Where it's all connected and it all talks to one another. And so we've got access to all of these wonderful things that sometimes in other agencies and things they're kind of siloed. And you've got to kind of find out, okay, well, who does that for this company? Can I talk to them? Will they talk to me? Will they give me some of this information that helps me then, guide my decisions, that I don't repeat any design mistakes and so forth moving forward? But you don't have that. You've got everything's contained.
Yeah, I mean, the full integration piece is so compelling. Like the idea that you can take a commercial, reuse assets, like that's usually such a pain point that you don't have like a good baseline or a media library to kind of make a website or anything else that can trickle down from that. So thank you for listening to today's episode of Design Huddle. The opinions expressed are solely our own and do not express the views or opinions of our employer.